Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 4v4 custom match here on the most amazing across this map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and players, starting with Team 1 up here in the northeast and ending with Team 2 down here in the southwest. Starting off here with the northeast player, the rearguard air slot player of Team 1. It is Dorset going first land as an Aeon in orange. The color of orange kind of blends in a little bit with the environment, but should be enough contrast for everybody that does struggle with colors and color blindness that they'll be able to see that. Down here to the south, we have Soul Ripper Noob going first land in Ruby Red as a UEF. Could call him Bug Noob, but I think I'll stick with Soul Ripper here for now. Soul Ripper take commenting by Dorset. To his southwest, we have Clint089 going first land as a Cybern in Stitch Blue. And the other Cybern here for Team 1, it is Cortana. He is in blue. I feel like he's in royal blue, but I feel like Stitch Blue would be better for the color scheme, but, still a blue. Going first line. Second air on the front line here for Team 1, and he is a Cybern as well. The Team 1 side of things for racial makeup, we have two Cyberns on the front line with UEF in the middle and an Aeon in the rear guard. Down here in the southwest here for Team 2, starting off, we have Tomochi Onozuka. Think I said that right. Going first land as a Cybern in Pac-Man yellow. To his east, another Cybern already on the move to the northwest section of that main base area. We have MSG, or as Uncle Roger, the YouTuber, says MSG. Going first land, probably second air, and then third land, or just land all day most likely. But just with that configuration, it does look like air. And he's in Sevi Crimson as a Cybern. To his northeast, we have Smithers going first land as another Cybern in Royal Purple. And he is on the front line here with the Snow White player of Peepa Noob going first land, second air as another Cybern for Team 2. So it is all Cybern all day here for Team 2. And Peepa Noob is in yellow as a Cybern. Right, in the Snow White as a Cybern going first land, second air. For the reclaim game here for this map, what do we have so far? 45,000. So what is that? A little bit under 2 monkeys. I had a comment in last video how what does medieval times and FAF have in common? We measure mass in chickens. And in this case, it's more like monkeys, but yes, normally it is chickens. And in terms of mass points, there are a heck of a lot of mass points on this map. Just cutting it down the middle here, just kind of the spine of this kind of bug insect thingamajig. We have a group of 3 here, another group of 3 down here, and we just have so many dotted around the map. I mean, this is a lot of land spam potential here for both teams. We are going to notice that there is a small avenue of attack over here, which will kind of force one side or the other into a artificial kill box. I wouldn't be surprised if both teams build a base around these 3 mexes over here to the east and the west side of this upper plateau area. And it's also kind of interesting because it's not completely flat. There is mountains on the northwest and southeast, which essentially says the avenues of attack are this. You can't really go in 360. So artillery would be best placed directly in the middle of that plateau. We already have the land spam game going on here for Team 2 from Peepa Noob, getting that quad factory surrounding a hydrocarbon versus a regular mechs. So probably just wanted to reduce the energy cost for everything. And does get a radar online. Really good move here. Is able to see a decent amount, not necessarily the eastern side, but a decent amount. And there are a couple of mexes just to encourage players to go for that plateau. And there's also another tri-mex spot over here to the north as well. There's nothing over here in this corner. Expect to see essentially nothing. There's a decent amount of water, so maybe there'll be a Navy fight. Well, never mind. There is going to be a Navy fight. I mean, there are a decent amount of mexes that can be threatened, but they're well out of range of the main base. And Team 2 does not have access to missile ships with that extra range like the Aeon player does for Team 1, so they're going to be at a severe disadvantage in the range game for Navy. We have here on the front lines here for both teams the comms of Smithers and the comm of Beepanu pushing forward. Very similar to what's happening on the northeast side with Cortana and with Clint. We already had some combat going on. We had a drop a couple of seconds ago. It looks like one T1 PD versus artillery is really only going to go one way, especially with the engineers helping to repair that facility. Going to get a radar online for some intel gathering operations, just to make sure they have nice little vision on that eastern plateau. Team 2's player, People Noob, being very aggressive with his drops, wanting to kind of just get the advantage early on. We have a pusher from the northwestern section of this little valley area against Clint. Clint will get some veterancy for it. These Mantis and other moles will have to retreat. It's Cybern versus Cybern action here in the middle. Team 1 has the only players in the game that have other technologies. So Team 2 very limited in terms of wide range, but the Cybern faction in general is very versatile. So we'll have to see if it's about, I don't want to say nationality, but solidarity versus kind of individuality, I guess, would be the way I'd describe that. But I don't know. I'm not correct on like political correctness, all that all the time. So if I say anything wrong, let me know. But we have Cortana here trying to cut off or at least intercept forces cutting down the middle section of this front line. We do have Mantis on both sides going after this little force. Not going to get a whole lot of work done. I don't even think they took out a single Mechs out. A couple of them. No, it doesn't look like any Mechs will die. It's essentially a probing attack. Not very useful, honestly. It does allow a little bit of breathing room for Team 2 to push up. We have T2 completed for Smithers. He's going to start pumping out those T2 Cerberus PDs. And again, the PDs for the Cyberns are designed against T1 units primarily. I mean, they fire very fast, of course, but they're designed especially for T1s. But once Team 1 kind of phases out their forces, Cerberus are kind of a moot point at that point. We have a force here from the comm of Smithers coming along this northwestern side of this center plateau. Reducing reinforcements here for Team 1's player of Clint trying to intercept, but they are well out of range, and it's going to take them a minute to get there. These mixes are going to be taken out. Nice little run-by opportunity from him. We have Soul Ripper pushing forward behind them, just grabbing some mixes on his way. And Team 2 not even deciding to get into that naval game. We have Team 1. We have 2 of them built here for Soul Ripper, and maybe we'll see one from Dorset. I would be surprised if we don't see one, just because those missile ships are so vital. T2 upgrade rooted to the spot here for Clint, and he's down in the yellow, almost sub 50% of his hit points, but the T2 will be able to give him, I think it's 2k hit points. Let's see, let's check when the upgrade finishes. Yeah, it is 2k hit points. He needs to get out of range. I was going to say, don't build that PD. Smithers was almost close to getting that kill, and it's still shooting at him. But unfortunately, again, the PD does not do a lot of damage, and so Clint does make it out of there. Would have been an early kill, would have been a good grab, but it just was not good enough. To the southeast, we have the gun upgrade for People Noob. I think I saw an upgrade here for Cortana. Yep, they have T2 as well. 3 of the 4 center comms have gone for T2. They want the tech upgrade as well as the additional hit points to their comms. I wouldn't be surprised if Clint builds the nano repair upgrade to rep up those hit points. Stealth going on the way for People Noob. That is the first step to the nano repair. He has to go stealth, then nano, then cloaking. We'll have to see if he goes all the way or just holds off for now. It does look like a lot of the forces for Team 1 are grouping on the eastern side of the middle. We do have Cortana grabbing that plateau. Would love to see maybe some T1 arty or something to kind of just push forces off of this eastern ridge, just to force them tighter and tighter into a little ball so some artillery can easily come in and wipe them out. But it's a little too early, of course, for T2 and T3 tech, at least on the land. We just saw it finished, and he's building rhinos, but not a lot of players start with missiles. Usually it's a couple rhinos, couple tanks of the different varieties of factions, and then it's missile launchers. So we'll see how that plays out. To the middle, we have Clint building some shields and also PDing to fight back against this position. Is he struggling with power? The shield was finished and not online. He's struggling with it a little bit. We should see it pop on here pretty quickly. There it goes. There it's charging. You are seeing the power reserves here for Smithers starting to waver, and he is a negative on mass. It's not, sorry, negative mass, negative on power, and those PD are starting to be taken out. That position's going to start to crumble if you can't fix that situation right quick. We have, it looks like, the player of Soul Ripper coming in to assist this defense to the western side, and he is essentially all by his lonesome against a horde of Team 1 units. Does Team 2 notice that? No, they just think it's empty. That would have been a great grab. There's only one PD going to be built for now. And even with that tight, narrow environment, they could easily come and just run right over him, but they decide not to, playing a little bit more conservatively, which might bite them in the butt later on. But we do have the push from Smithers starting to waver. This fire base is holding for Clint. The PD focusing on the other PD, and this PD will be taken out. We have Smithers trying to use his engineers to assist in repairing those structures, but it does look like once the shield pops back on here for Clint, it's really going to reside for him. You can see those shots constantly fire. We have the PD focusing at the shield while the PD for Smithers is focusing the PD. I don't know if the shield is in range or not, but just due to the fact that the PD is in front does make a difference. Positioning of your structures does make a difference in this game. People Noob tried to assault that main front line here for Team 1. That did not end well. He even has some stealth on that comm, but does not save him for vision. So he'll have to run back to his main line. It does look like Team 1 is taking more of a, not a conservative approach, but taking a more defensive approach of, instead of pushing as far as they can southward, they're sacrificing a couple of frontline mechs to hold a better front line. Looks like that is the main goal here for Team 1's player, Cortana. And People Noob does only have the gun upgrade, not T2, so he can't build Cerberus or shields by himself. So it does give the advantage for defense for turtling for Team 1. But Team 2, 12 minutes, does have T3 air. But Team 1 also has T2 Navy, and with producing these cruisers, that air advantage is going to start to crumble, or at least not be as strong as it used to be. We do have an early whaler from Komachi. Yeah, I think it's Komachi Onozuka. I think I got the Onozuka part. I think it's the Komachi part that I might have trouble pronouncing, I think, while I'm looking at his name. We see a radar in the main base here for MSG. Not really useful. He has a lot of them, so redundancy is important, but the one back there isn't really doing a whole lot. It should be more at the front line, or at least, you know, in a more forward base. But still, that fire base here for Smithers trying to hold on. That PD was taken out, but the shields are back online, and now we have artillery. Clint saying, okay, I'll raise you one and build more. We have, again, just a base war here at 13 minutes. Isn't super early for one. Usually we see that about the 20-minute mark. But we'll have to see how that goes on for longer. We do have torpedo being built here for MSG. He has shield and T2. Sorry, stealth and T2. So he's probably going to go after these cruisers. There's a couple of these tiger sharks in the water who have sat here for a while. We do have some torp launchers being built for defense. Probably looking to get into that naval game. Should have gotten into it earlier on. Team 1 has the huge advantage, especially with these cruisers, knocking out that air advantage right quick. Team 1's player of Dorset does have T3 as well. I think he's a little bit behind. He has 2 P-gens. How much does Team 2 have? 1 P-gen, almost. So I think Dorset's ahead by like maybe 30 seconds or so. Not a huge advantage, but it does make a difference. But this is where a lot of the action is. At least the most important action, in my opinion, is this middle section. Of course, down here, nothing's really changed. Just units charging in and then dying and then retreating. There was a lot of forward momentum here for Smithers, but a lot of it has been taken out. Unfortunately, it does look like the artillery is not microing what it should. It should be targeting the Gunthers, not under. Well, the shield gets taken out, so that's helpful. But the Gunther is the main target here. It is a 1-2-3 advantage here for Clint. He does have some missiles he's worrying about, but the missiles are coming in for him as well. Does look like the comm of MSG takes out every one of those units except for that governor, and he already just spammed up a T2 naval headquarters and is building those T2 attack subs as quickly as he can. They're not Tiger Sharks because that's UEF. These are Barracudas. That's what they're called. And he's going to sick them on those Governor class cruisers. There is a Cooper in the mix. Actually, there's more Coopers being built. Does look like Team 1's player of Soul Ripper does sense there's a possibility that Team 2 is going for mass torpedo spam. So that is not necessarily a direct counter. I mean, it does have torp defense when the Barracudas do too. So it's kind of the same thing. But I feel like getting a destroyer in there would help a lot more as well. But again, I'm not the one playing. I'm the one casting. So sometimes I just gotta, maybe he has a plan that I don't know about, and we'll just have to see how that unfolds. We do have an upper plateau push here from Smithers as well. Does excavate? Not excavate. Not evacuate. Eviscerate? No, just kick off Soul Ripper from this position. Soul Ripper's been hanging out. He has a TMD. He has a PD. He has a couple of mexes. Has PD as well. Nice little base here. Does have T2 radar, which helps a ton out. You can see everything here is just visible. You can see the comm for Smithers as well. It's a great placement. Team 2 probably thinking they have the better placement in the middle if they would just use it. You could build, radar here. You could build artillery here. You could build PD here. You could build a whole bunch here. But we have a couple of rhinos going after the comm, or at least that main base, or that forward operating base here for Smithers. Smithers just being pushed back constantly. Had a great work earlier on and just cannot seem to hold it together. Lots of missile launchers. There's also artillery back here. Constantly pushing that comm back. He needs to leave. He wants to hold it, which I don't blame him, but the amount of TMD that he's building is not enough. He needs even more. That artillery will not be defeated by some little zappers. You can see that artillery just sail in, almost directly impact the comm. Once the PD is down, it's just about getting units in. Reclaim good efforts going here from Cortana as well. And what's the eco game looking like? Well, Team 1 in the lead by almost 100 mass. About 70 mass a second. But we have an air fight starting to ensue here between both air players. Team 2 is out of permission. Komachi's not the best positioning. They're going after the interceptors, and it looks like some transports that were built and not the enemy ASFs. And this will give an advantage to Dorset in the air game. And those remaining ASFs will have to retreat. Torp bombers being used to take out some bulwarks and some other units, but does look like Team 1 really needs to, just have one facility producing cruises and the other one producing everything else. A squadron of, I was going to say MSG, but a squadron of Torp bombers does make a huge difference. Now we see 4 Salems, and this is going to have to force back Team 1 in the water. This is a huge opportunity. If they can capitalize it, they can knock Team 1 or at least Soul Ripper out of the water. I would like to see a backup facility up here, but there is not, unfortunately. Would like to see it. Probably won't happen, but now we're seeing again more of a back and forth in the water. Team 2 is not going to take it down or take it lying down. He's going to fight for it, and good for him. I'd like to see a fight more than just somebody running over somebody else. It's good to see a nice jet, back and forth. Ras going upgrade for Komachi. I don't see any push for maybe a nuke or anything. It's maybe a little too early. That air good is going up fairly fast, though. Here in the middle, T3 for Cortana. Soul Ripper, it looks like still just ecoing up a little bit, and obviously focusing on Navy. The air grid is actually going up not as fast as his opponent, so Dorset might be looking on the other side of the numbers here quickly. If Team 2's player of Komachi can keep his air presence and not just run them in and not necessarily waste them, but not get any value out of it, we'll have to see. But we have some artillery going for these little land factories. They're not that important. We have an incursion over here to the northeast. So this northern position here for Team 2, not really going to mean a whole lot. But we have a small contingent of rhinos pushing through this little valley pass. We have a couple of loyalists trying to chase them. Loyalists are faster than the Rhinos, so we'll have to see if the Rhinos decide to turn around or just take it in the back. We'll have to see as time goes on. Both of the comms for Team 2 on the front line are actually in Smithers' old forward operating base. Looks like the player, Peepo Noob, says, I need to assist more on that western side or it's going to fall fairly quickly. I mean, just the, incursion of Rhinos is proof enough. Couple of Corsairs, so Smithers does have T2 air. Probably is going T3 air at some point, even some of those Renegades coming onto the field as well. More Torp Bombers in reserve here for MSG. T3 has been completed for Dorset's commander, and now it's a real naval fight here. It does look like the numbers starting to reside here for Team 2's play of MSG. We have a couple of destroyers and frigates, but that's about it. Couple of Coopers as well, but those Salems have Torp defense, so they're not as effective. The torpedoes, I mean. We need to see T3, and it is finished, and he's going for a Neptune. If he can get this online, that's going to be a huge grab. Team 2 needs to find out about this. They don't know. They can still see it's T2. They need to get eyes on it. They need vision, or they need, spy planes, zooming overhead, which is not really what Team 2 is doing. Komachi should get that overhead, at least every couple of minutes. I feel like is a good interval. Team 1 is holding out, and this one has now completed to 50%. If this can get to that front line, there are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Salems and a arms being constructed for MSG. He wants to push and push and push, and unfortunately, it might not be looking too good. That Neptune is about to finish. Will these Salems have enough firepower to hold them off? There's a lot of torpedoes just kind of chasing off other torpedoes here, and the units here for Team 1's player Solver constantly trying to dodge. The first T3 Neptune class battle cruiser is online, and it's like trying to get out. The shield comes back online for that. Bulwark will help assist in the defense of those Neptune class battle cruisers. Now the Salems only have 6,000, and the first one is taken out. Team 2 now knows about it, and here it comes. You can see the range that these Soul Rippers have. I think they have a little bit slightly better, or maybe it's about the same. It's hard to tell. But that Neptune is starting to feel it due to this harm that is being built, and has been built, and the second one being built as well. Team 2's player of MSG being very aggressive in the water. He has to be very careful because all Team 1 has to do is send some torps in, and that is it. The second harms does finish. Team 1's player Soul Ripper tries to reside on that northern side of this cove area, and a lot of those Salems are being taken out. The battle cruiser is the main target. The direct fire weapons are very effective. They rarely miss, if at all. There goes the next destroyer. It is down. I don't know. It's going to be close with this Neptune. If a second one can come online before the first one dies, it's pretty much good. The first one will die, but the second one will come online, and that is going to be a huge, huge grab here for Team 1. Lots of mass in that field. There are Torp bombers on the way. Air support for them and counter air support for Team 1. They're going to reside over this little cove area. We see a monkey being built here. It has to be a monkey. It's this early. And it could be a crab, but it's really unlikely. Torp bombers here from Team 1's player of Dorset. They are encountering probably those ASF here in about, let's say, a second. The Neptune is trying to hide the best it can, at least out of range. There's only 3 Salems left, and that is definitely the advantage here for the Neptune. The third one about to complete. We have some of those bulwarks helping to shield that Neptune, and all they need to do is take out these harms and MSG, and that is a kill here for Team 1 if they can manage it. But there's more and more Torp bombers coming in all the time. They need air support, and they need it now. The main target is the Neptune, but a lot of them do impact that bulwark shield. They run into those ASF. They get one pass. That is it. There's one destroyer still online. The second one comes online, but it's kind of slow. Team 1 is producing them a lot faster, and their T3 as well. He's about to produce, I think that was another bulwark I think he produced. He's going to produce another Neptune, so that'll be the third one, at least active currently. Took out those engineer support. It's only the MSG commander and 4 harms. they need to deal with this. Team 1 does specifically. That's a lot of torpedoes coming off of that. It's going to be a little bit of a tough nut to crack, but with enough torpedo launchers, with, I guess, Soul Ripper coming in to assist with Dorset, this does not look good here for MSG, and he knows that he needs to get out of that water, and he needs to now. Now they know where the comm of Team 2's play of MSG, and he is spotted. He gets pinged. So Team 2 needs to get that comm out of there as quickly as possible. ASFs need to come in to assist. We have a force down here to the south. It is bricks versus bricks, brother versus brother. Monkey goes down. Front line starting to crumble. Renegade gunships coming onto the scene, but we have AA in the mix. They'll take those out fairly quickly. Bricks are falling behind. The comm of People Noob coming in to assist. And it does look like a lot of those T3 forces have been dealt with. It's just some bricks and a couple of bouncers. The bouncers just trying to do what they can to stave off enemy air forces, and the bricks are getting pretty close to that commander. All they have to do is move a couple more meters, and that is it. The comm turns around, and a nuke is launched. Clint is taken out by Smithers' Monkey Lord on that northern side. MSG is completely fine for now. That was a good counter push. Smithers was taking it in the face for a while, but it does look like People Noob is under threat. There's a couple of bricks in range. We have Corsairs coming in to assist. That's a lot of firepower from these bricks. Here it comes. The bricks are actually moving northward, ignoring the comm, and then go, oh yeah, there's a comm there. We should probably take that out. Now the comm of People Noob is going to be taken out. He's trying to dodge the best he can, and that will be a kill here for Team 1 to avenge their comrade of Clint. And now it is a 3v3. MSG does make it out of live, and the nuke does land against the player's base of Cortana. I was going to say Smithers, but Smithers is on the other team. But that Monkey Lord is pretty much unopposed. A couple of assisting bricks. Would like to see some AA, but at least it's by itself. So not by itself. It's not being bothered, so it's not that bad. The bricks still pushing southward. There was a crab under construction here for People Noob. He would have loved to have that online. This PGen would be great. Take out the hives, take out the engineers. The PD is going to be just enough to hold off any more threats. We're targeting the mass. The PGen actually would be the better grab here because it can take out so much. And that Monkey Lord does charge the main base that was once Clint's. There's nothing on the ground really to stave this off, and so 2 bases for that front line for Team 1 are being taken out. We have a couple of restorers. They don't do very well against round targets, so it's going to take a while. Team 1's Navy has been fully flushed out. We have Summits, we have Shields, we have Neptunes, there should be cruisers in here. If there's not, that's very disappointing. We have a lot of bulwarks, we have destroyers, a decent variety of units here for Team 1 in that Navy. Restorers, again, you can see just how non-powerful they are against ground units. I've been sitting here for at least 30 seconds to a minute, and the Monkey Lord is in the yellow still. And that front line air factory gunship facilities are being taken out. They're trying to produce as many as they can. These are Stingers. They don't do as much damage as their broadsword and brethren, but at least they can do some damage. And here they come. More and more is assisting coming in all the time. Engineers coming, waiting to land so that they can drop and get some reinforcements, some of that mass. ASF's gonna seize the opportunity and take out some enemy ASFs, but targeting the gunship's not the best idea. Those restorers are known for their AA. Another nuke launches a second nuke very quickly. MSG pumping out those nukes as fast as he can. Does Team 1 have proper SMD coverage? Well, there's one loaded on the front line. That looks like it's going to be taken out pretty soon. We have the player of Solar Pro kind of in the middle of the base, but all the core mass here is gone. There's more mass here. That air grid is probably the main target. It does not have one loaded, and it's going to be close. Oh, it's going to be close, everyone. Let's see. We can see that yellow bar tick even closer. Everything is going into it. The comm of Dorset is retreating back to his main base. Oh, does it finish? It finishes in time, and it kills it. Good on him. It was very close. That front line is essentially gone. Another Monkey Lord cleaning up it. There's really nothing standing in Team 2's way. They got a nice grab here. That Monkey Lord just came all the way, ripped through Team 1's front line. Team 2 does have to be a little cautious, though, because if they push too far forward too quickly, Team 1 will just turtle up, build artillery, and just wreck Team 2's shop. They have to be very careful about that, especially with that naval fleet coming in for this Team 3 naval headquarters. They're building Barracudas, or at least MSG is. He has a couple of destroyers, these Salems, but the Neptunes will eviscerate them very quickly. Of course, we have summits back here. They also have this harm that is not taken out for some reason, and I don't know why. But it does look like Team 1 will be able to at least breathe a sigh of relief for now. Secondary SMD is online. Let's take a look at Ecos now with that giant hole. Team 1 is actually still in the lead, even with all of this mass just eviscerated. Team 1 is in the lead. Some of that might be reclaim related. But, 1.9, almost 2K versus 1.5. Team 2 focusing more on attacking versus ecoing up. And let's see, who is the highest? It looks like MSG's at almost 800 mass a second. MSG is essentially leading his team in mass by almost, actually more mass than his other teammates combined. He does have 2 bases, to be fair, but that's a lot of mass still. He should be building, maybe even I wouldn't say a game ender, but at least an artillery, maybe a crab or 2. We did see one built here down here. It does finish. It was mostly built by People Nuke, but he does finish it off. The Monkey Lord will deal with these bricks. That secondary Monkey Lord came in and was annihilated. Another nuke is launched. Where is this one going? We don't... it's going for the T3 naval headquarters, so they want to eliminate the naval pressure. But unfortunately, even if you take the facility out, which is good to do, to be fair, the force here is, kind of overwhelming at this point, and it's starting to create an exclusion zone. Essentially, whatever those summits have range is essentially what is going to be killed off. That nuke could be under threat. It'll be close. If he parks it right here, maybe, but it'll be close. We'll have to check up back on that in a second, but the nuke does land, of course. Takes out those 2 main naval facilities. Soul Ripper kind of, out of luck for that. He needs to take out this harm. Like, it's just sitting here. Why? it should be gone. We have torp bombers over the top trying to deal with these summits and other units. We have a couple of Barracudas still alive. There should be some... Oh, there would be. It does look like there's some torps coming off of these Neptunes. Maybe that'll help take out the rest of those Barracudas. But it looks like the primary focus is just taking out anything nearby. It does look like Team 2's air player does have the advantage. Has a decent amount of whalers, too. He's actually going to charge in against the gunships. The crab goes down. Looks like that's the main target. That there are a decent amount of SAM sites being built. Obviously a good counter to T3 air. The gunships are retreating. The ASFs are going to be taken out. But those gunships are very powerful. They have a lot of AA on them. They're decently chunky, and you can see just due to the inclusion of those gunships, Team 1 is able to hold on to at least some of their air. But look at this pressure. We have 116 here for Team 2, and for Dorset, we only have 51, so it's a 2-to-1. But the gunships do make up a little bit for that, and more SAM sites, of course, do assist as well. I love what's going on. Oh, there's some missiles. Where are these missiles going? We have some Corsairs going after some Gunthers, but those don't last very long. Where are these missiles going? Oh, they take out this T3 Pigeon against Smithers. A great grab, taking out his Pigeon capability, his power generating capabilities. He's floating mass. His, overflow from his teammates are helping, but it's not a whole lot. Another base war here for Smithers and now for Soul Ripper. And he does not have a shield online. He's going to feel that. There goes his first shield. Gunthers are taking a hit. He's trying to build more and more, but another nuke. I think that's the 4th nuke for Team 2's MSG has been built. I like the position under shield coverage, but those summits are trying to inch their way forward. Is he going for... No, he is not. I thought he was going to go for those naval units, but he's going for this, section of T3 Pigeons. Honestly... I don't think it's... No, it's our T3 Pigeons. T3 mass extractors, but I don't even think that's worth it. Yeah, he'll take out some infrastructure, maybe some SAM sites, but that's really about it. Unless he wants to snipe the comm, which, you know, we obviously saw he's not going to. And there goes some mass. Kaboom. Takes out, you know, a couple of, you know, mass. I think that's 2, is that 18, I think? Is it 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12? So is that 24 plus, is it 30? How much is it? 18, 27. That's like 40 something mass. It's not bad, but I don't think that was worth 1 nuke. It does look like MSG is getting very much diminishing returns on that nuke launcher. Has killed 110,000 mass. But I think a lot of that came for the first 2 strikes, though. We have artillery, or not artillery, we have missiles constantly raining on the mass for MSG. The summits cannot target the nuke here, but at least they can take out some more and more mass. And that was what I mentioned early on in the cast, was the fact that, you know, yeah, you can create an exclusion zone, but you're not going to get into that main base. We have a bunch of whalers on their way to deal with them. There's not a lot of AA here. There's some. We have some T1 as well, but it's not a lot. ASFs here going to target saturate that environment. Team 1 should respond with those, but they're not going to. It looks like the gunships are going to be targeted for Team 1. And of course, once you take out the things shooting at you, you can take out everything else. The whalers correctly going after all of those cruisers. Almost, actually, all of them are now gone. Now it's just these summits left online with a, you know, line of T1, but it is T1. It does take a while to chew through all those hit points. Whalers have 5,900 hit points, so, you know, it does take a while. There's a couple of AA emplacements, but not as strong as the cruisers on these other units.
Strategic launch
The 5th nuke at 34 minutes. We've had 2 players killed so far. Will this nuke land? I don't know where it's going. It's going for this position, a secondary air grid, this time for Soul Ripper starting to be built. It will be taken out. His comm does not have protection with this SMD, but his comm will be fine. I think... Oh, no, this SMD is not loaded as well. Team 1 is spacing out their SMD quite nicely, putting them essentially almost everywhere. This position will be taken out. Mass will be taken out. Pigeons will be taken out. Kaboom. Takes out all those engineers as well. Plans are delayed, not stopped here for Team 1. Anything to stop you, says Smithers. And all of those naval forces are eliminated. A decent amount of those gunships do survive. But I don't feel like Team 2 should go back in the Navy, or at least maybe they'll just build something, just a bunch of harms to just slow down the opponent. Let the opponent crash onto the rock and essentially destroy themselves versus spend all that time. And it does look like Smithers has won his base war with a ton of Gunthers. This Gunther battery is intense. Look at the angles on that thing. That is a lot of artillery. And slowly just fanning out the engineers for that mass. Team 1 still in the lead for mass. In total mass accrued for them, 2.57 million versus 2.2 million for Team 2. That's enough to build a game ender and some. We'll have to see if there are any plans to do so. We do have a salvation. I mean, it's kind of rare that you see the salvation built first and not the Paragon. But this would be a huge grab for Team 1 if they're able to get it online. They're also getting an eye as well for nice intel gathering operations. Gunships being just foisted on their opponent, trying to take out the naval facilities. Do not want any more cruisers or Neptunes or summits being built here. And to buy Team 2 enough time to maybe get into the Navy game, but I still doubt it. There's no moves on the ground. It looks like MSG is more focused on building nukes. He should be building more stand-up tactics. Maybe, oh, okay, well, he's actually already built a disruptor. I somehow missed that, and now a second one is almost done. It's going after this position, which is quite interesting. You would think it'd go after the air grid, which is not really shielded, but another nuke is launched. Where is this one going? It's going after this position as well. It is a RASCOM, I was going to say production, but it's not production. It's gating in facility. And it's still an eco facility. It's still a good grab, but again, it's just more about diminishing returns. Like, yeah, you take out some core mass or take out a decent amount of mass, but I mean, you're not doing lasting damage. And that's what you got to do with a lot of nukes and game enders and stuff. You want lasting damage or just crippling damage. What I mean by that is if you have a land push coming at you and you use a nuke and you kill 80% of the land units coming after you, then that land push means nothing. And all that time that Team 1 spent, or the other team spent building it, doesn't really matter. Rascom's going down. That SMD does go down as well. We have backup facilities being built and loaded all the time. That is the main targets here for MSG, wanting to take out the SMDs just to deal with those anti-nukes. But does look like Team 1's player of Dorset sends his ASF in. Doesn't go his way, and he'll have to retreat with hardly anything to his name. A lot of wall sections remaining here from people noob. I was wondering what the white was about. Thought they were like really weird highlighted intel installations, but not the case. And it just looks like, I mean, Team 2, they had, they were starting off a little bit slow, then they gained a lot of momentum. They came out, they almost took out the naval facility, got pushed back, then Team 1 got pushed back, and now MSG's like, I'll just build artillery, which is a good play. He already has 2 and almost half of another one done. He's building more and more Monkey Lords, though. He does see the land push with 2 crabs coming his way. Cybern on Cybern action here. The range does reside with Team 1, but those crabs will come in and take out the other crab. It doesn't really mean a whole lot. We have a Monkey Lord to the west. A lot of engineers will die, unfortunately, here for the player of Cortana. Cortana is the highest rated player in the game at 2,000, with the player of that was once people noob the highest for Team 2. But the lowest rated player is on Team 1, and that is Dorset. The artillery now is attacking the air grid. And I feel like that's not a little too late, but could have happened a while ago, probably like at least 5 minutes ago. Especially with, 2 artillery online? A 3rd one on the way. It probably should have taken that out first. Those crabs do retreat, though, fearing the additional crab and 2 Monkey Lords. That is a good estimate. Be like, that's probably not a good idea. Monkey Lord does try to push through, go after some Rascoms and some other defenses. Engineers building up more and more all the time to prevent any more incursions, but Monkey Lords do a lot of damage when they're up close. But we have a Colossus making landfall, scooping up engineers as we speak. Team 1's player of MSG needs to know about this, or he is in serious danger. He's having some power. Can I get a nice shot? There we go. La 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 la. Just doesn't know that there's a Colossus in the distance. Like MSG, you might want to move. You might want to move. Just saying, you're building T1 PD, which kind of helps but doesn't. And that Colossus is coming into range. A huge oversight by Team 2. There are some gunships to help assist, but it's going to be a little too late for that position. There's a lot of power coming off of that one Colossus. The laser is it should focus on that Liberator. Liberator no longer loaded, no longer loading. Had 202,000 mass. The PD is built. It's targeting the Monkey Lord. Wow, I said that word. The Monkey Lord. It needs to retask onto that nuke launcher. There it goes. And, the Monkey Lord does open up. Is it going to be enough to hold off this Colossus? No, it will not. It retasked onto that Monkey Lord. Now it's taking out the PD. Not the greatest grab, but does take out that nuke launcher. Probably a good grab. Probably should have taken out the P-Gen, and then does take out one in its death anyway. Would have been, again, more lasting damage, more volatile damage. But the artillery raining in on that air grid takes out the entire sets of air grids here for Team 1's player of Dorset. Goes back into producing P-Gens, but you need more shields. I know you need the power for it, but doesn't really do you any good if you're just being bombarded all the time. Secondary air grid here for Soul Ripper trying to help his teammate, but it's not really looking good here for Team 1. They had a good thing going with that Navy, but now with 3 disruptors, it's going to be really hard pressed to take them out. We have more. What was that about? Sir, that game goes on for me. More and more Rascoms dying. I wish they would change the explosion noise, but they will not, unfortunately. Or they just haven't decided to. Monkey Lord's finding it more and more difficult to crack this front line. There's a lot of PD. Team 1 probably should enlist the help of Soul Ripper in getting some of those T3 Ravagers online. That would severely help. But with all of this artillery pressure, it's going to be hard-pressed. ASFs are protecting it as best they can. There could be a push down to the south and to the west, but neither team really using that avenue of attack. The player of Cortana is building an underwater Scathis at 42 minutes. More experimentals are built all the time. We have another crab, 2 crabs on their way. We have 3 crabs in defense. Perimeter monitoring station will detect them, of course. Let's check out the range on that thing. That is the range on that perimeter monitoring station. A huge chunk of the map, not mass, is visible, but there it goes, and the vision slowly fades. Rascom's dying. How much he built an experimental. Is it a monkey? It is a monkey. Lots of monkeys here for Team 2. Now we just have MSG going to hide in the southern corner of the map. Does not want to be caught out unawares once again. Very smart move. That salvation is not... It's not shielded. Needs to be fixed. There it goes. Shields pop back online. Does he have the power to hold them? No, he does not. He needs more P-gens. And that's not the difference. That is the issue with building, salvations, or just artillery in general. You need a lot of power. Mass too, but you need a lot of power. We have a small force of engineers just kind of scooping up what they can, building some T1 mass extractors, and still, I was gonna say for the first time, but Team 1 is still in the lead for mass, and just goes to show you that even if you're leading mass the entire game, you can still lose. It's not about necessarily how much you have or how much you're getting per second. It's about how you use it. 2 monkeys are pushing forward to shield the crabs coming in. We have 5 crabs and 3 monkeys. This monkey, you can see the ineffectiveness of these Cerberus. Look at all that firepower, and it's just essentially tickling that Monkey Lord. We do have a crab to the north, west, north, and 2 to the east, 3 to the east. So it's an even game with crabs. This one's severely wounded. I feel like control of these should just be given over to Smithers just so he can micro the land. Oh, literally as I say something. Just need to say it, and either it will or will not happen. I just need to speak it, make it manifest. And there goes another Rascom to crab fire. These crabs need to come in and assist. It's sitting behind the front lines is not going to help. You need to be on it. You need to distract from a lot of these shots. Look at the lines of PD just being annihilated. Not going well here for Team 1 on this eastern side. The crabs getting into position, creating a kill box. At least they're going to try to. The Cerberus are doing a decent amount of job taking out the loyalists. Surprising there's not a lot of bricks in this mist, but the crabs do target the Monkey Lords first. They have the shorter range, more I think they deal more damage when they're up close, kind of like the Neptune. I think that's how that works. But all 3 monkeys are down. Now they can focus on the crabs. And it does look like, just with the units on the field, there's 6 crabs now. That is the advantage here for Team 1. They have 1 additional experimental, but there's a lot of T3 units here. A lot of these crabs need to focus on the main threats down here, which are the other crabs, but 1 crab falls for each team. We have, of course, Cortana trying to come in with some AA. They can fire on the ground and I think they can fire on the ground, but they can also fire in the air, of course. And they take out those gunships. Another crab does come and assist. This one is almost dead, however. All of the crabs can fire. These ones backing up. Kind of a waste if I would, all of the ones can fire for Team 2, but for Team 1 they can, and so that means more TPS for Team 2. Did you guys stop playing? Says Cortana. Target SMB, says Smithers. We have, 4 artillery here for Team 2 now? 1, oh my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have an X marks the spot essentially here for Team 2's player of MSG. The 5th one just finishes. I'm trying to get a nice little view of that arrangement of artillery. Look at that. That is nuts. That's a lot of artillery. That's like critical mass amounts of artillery. The only thing that can take it out is a salvation, and it's about to finish. This is going to be close. Salvation almost done. This is Team 1's ace in the hole. They need to protect it. We do, of course, have that Scathis. It's half done. It's still going to take a while. Crabs are retreating on the front lines here for Team 2. We do have another additional crab in defense. These crabs need to hold off. They need to stave off as much incoming threat as they can. Walking them forward is probably not a good idea, especially with all of these these strat bombers on the way, targeting the SMDs, of course. They turn away at the last second. A lot of AA coverage. I don't know where they're going. There they go. They're dropping some bombs, taking out some mass. There it goes. They took out one mass extractor, but this is a lot of artillery. And it completes, and it's starting to fire. Where is it landing? Well, it's going to land right on top of this. Shields are going down as quick as they're brought up. They are Cybrans. They're not as good as UEF and Seraphim, of course. And if these pigeons go down, that is essentially all of these artillery down and out. The disadvantage with the Salvation, of course, is it doesn't do a lot of damage with its shots, but it does fire a lot of shots very quickly. And it's not super, it's not the best thing for accuracy, but it does, cover a decent range. It's a small, section, but you can see those shots. They spread out, deal lots of AoE explosions. The engineers need to be on top of this volatile game. If it doesn't, there goes one artillery. There goes the rest of them except for one. One is still online. This pigeon goes down. I think that's it. Oh, it's so close. Only has 150 hit points left. Oh, the shields are still online. The shield came online. Another shield came online. They still have one artillery. But it went from 5 to 1. Will alleviate a ton of pressure on Team 1's shields. And now Salvation's getting more and more shields as we speak. That's going to be a hard nut to crack now. They're getting a new eye just to see what's going on. See what I did there? But the fifth and final artillery does get taken out. Team 2, do you have another ace in the hole? Another game plan. We do have MSG on a upgrade for teleport. It doesn't have the laser yet. Building a Scathis in the place where the nuke was. But we have a nuke here. Where is it from? It's from Team 2. You can see the nuke symbol right here. Where's it coming from? Oh, it's coming from this base. That's actually pretty far forward. Artillery now raining on. I don't like that keeps popping up. Raining on this front position now. There goes the nuke. It's going to impact on some crabs. We'll take out one. Not even take out one crab. It's actually kind of a waste, I feel like. There's a whole. That's a mass. Oh, wrong buttons. There we go. How much mass? 180,000 mass. Look at that. Just on screen. Let's zoom in a little bit more. 171 on screen. How much for total map? 390,000. That is so much mass. So much mass. That Salvation raining in all the time. Such a clutch play by Team 1. They were really suffering for a long time under the weight of that artillery. I think there's also another one, actually. There's one. Where is it? Oh, it's right here for Team 2's play of Komachi. But again, 5 or 6 versus 1. That's I would take that in a heartbeat. And now the Scathis actually finishes. I didn't think it would finish in time for Team 1, but that Salvation came back and not won it, but did a lot of work here for Team 1 for Cortana. And now this position is going to be blanketed. The air grid for Team 2 is going to go down. Team 1 has their own air grid. Does Team 2 even notice it? No, they do not. Well, they know they know it's an air grid just by the formation of the buildings. But, oh, man. There's that Scathis. It's almost close to be finishing for Team 2. This could be counter Scathis. There goes that air grid down and out. So many things being taken out. Salvation focusing on the artillery. Good move. Takes out that base as well. Ooh, that's got to hurt. A lot of firepower now coming off of Team 1. Man, this really turned it around. We have some bombers on the way to take out that Salvation, but interceptors. ASF intercept. Another airfight will ensue. A couple of bombers try to make it out of there, but they do not. Here it comes. It looks like the airfight will be won by Team 1, even if they lose it. the fact that Team 2 doesn't really have another air grid, not really good. And we have a Monkey Lord here for Team 2's player, but Komachi does control K. The artillery was raining in on him currently. Wasn't really going to go very well for him. Now it is a 3v2 in favor of Team 2, and now we have some Renegades. Actually, these are Stingers going after AA, I guess. Another Monkey Lord here for Team 2 will be taken out by some Cerberus turrets. We did have another Monkey Lord die earlier while we were commenting about the death of Komachi, but a donut is being built here by Team 1. I don't even think that's necessary at this point with the Scathis and the Salvation. Once Team 1 notices the Scathis is online for MSG, that is game over for that Scathis. Artillery raining in, taking out the rest of that air grid. Do they know where the comm is? Oh, they know where the comm is for MSG, and he is teleporting away. Where is he going? I'm actually going to select MSG to see where we are going. I don't think it shows the location he's teleporting to. I'm going to zoom out just to see where he ends up going. Smithers ends up control K, decides the game is pretty much over for him. It's just MSG versus the world. He's taking some hit point damage from the artillery, but teleports in and kills the Scathis. But there are Rascoms next to him. He is not getting out of there. Kaboom. He gets a final nail, a final kill. The Scathis for him does not finish. Team 2 knew about it. Or they found out about it, I should say. We were all Cybern, says Smithers. Yes, it was a very good game. A lot of back and forth. There was a little bit of a cut there by accident. I pushed the wrong button to, instead of hit the menus, I hit the button to turn off the recording and turn it back on very quickly. So you'll see a tiny bit cut in the middle if you didn't notice it already. But thank you again so much for watching. Please like and comment down below what your favorite moment of the video was. The underrated play of the game goes to Dorset, just due to the fact that if it wasn't for that Salvation, they would not have won. I mean, yeah, you had the Scathis being built, of course, which, I mean, it was good to have that, but if the Salvation wasn't built and these, you know, well, I forget what quintuple? Yeah, quintuple artilleries were not taken out, that Scathis would not have lasted very long. So good on Dorset for just holding on very tight. Team 2 did let up a little bit of pressure, and they probably shouldn't have done that. They would have been able to take out the Salvation being built and probably the comm as well. But Team 1 does not win a flawless game. They lost the player of Clint. But again, a win is still a win. So congratulations to Team 1 for winning this game. And again, thank you to all of you for watching the video. I was going to say channel, but the video and the channel in general. And again, if you've enjoyed the video and the channels in general, the videos on the channel in general, please let me know how you feel, especially by hitting that sub button. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much again to everybody who has already for helping me reach 600. And I will see all of you in the next one.